Namaste Yogis. Hi, I'm Annie Carpenter, and we're here at the Yoga Journal Conference in Estes Park. I'm a longtime yoga teacher and creator of Smart Flow Yoga, which is a neat sort of marriage of strong movement-based, breath-based asana and really smart alignment and intelligent sequencing. But I have to say that what's happened in the last few years is compassion and patience, and that I'm trying to bring to all the practices.
Okay, so finally,
Yes.
I'm here with Annie Carpenter. It's an honor.
Thank you. It's mine.
And I guess I've known of you for years and run into you once in a while for years. But I am genuinely excited and happy and honored to talk with you.
Thank you.
So for your, at least in video form, your first connection with elephant readers, what's your story a little bit? What's your life path? And yeah, what are you up to?
Well, I think since I'm a little kid, I've been really engaged in the physical body. I was an athlete as a kid, and I ran up to New York when I was 17.
What kind of athlete?
You name it. Softball, football, everything,
Wow.
tree climber. And I ran up to New York at 17 to dance and work with the Martha Graham Company in New York and traveling all around.
Just a little company called Martha Graham.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
And taught at her school for many years.
Wow.
And what's interesting when I look back on all that, so grateful to have been around that being.
Wow.
Such an inspiration, demanding inspiration.
So she was incredibly active then, right, when you were there?
Yes, for an 80, I think she was 81 when
she was
I got
already
there.
pretty old, yeah.
But she was still force.
Yeah.
And just the way she spoke, she would get us to wake up in ways that nothing else. Nothing else could wake you up.
And a lot of people might say that about you. You're all about waking up, forceful, but kind of sweet and playful somehow.
I got a little Martha channeling through, I hope.
Yeah.
But I always loved teaching, and I taught at her school for many years, even when I was performing. And for some reason, while I loved performing, I loved being a teacher from the very beginning. I was the youngest teacher ever hired there. And I just
What age?
I think I was 23.
Wow.
Yeah. And so there's something about me inviting people, as you say, wake up, be here. What's happening right now, not in the past, not in the future, right now. And that's what Martha, and that's what performance demands. But my view is, who cares about performance?
Right.
Let's you and me be right here, right now.
Life is the performance. In a way.
This moment is the moment. There is no other. And so I learned that from Martha, and all the other things I've done, specifically yoga, that's what it's all about.
So do you think the way she taught was in some way similar to your yoga teaching or to spiritual practice?
Absolutely. And she actually said back in the day that she was influenced by yoga. And the whole opening exercises are called the breathings.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Martha brought it to me on a silver platter.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is there any element of what she taught you that you directly do in your yoga teaching?
I think there is. Her technique was designed that as the way you moved in the choreography, in the classes, was designed to elicit a feeling, to create an effect. And if we really look at especially the deeper yoga practices, they're designed to create an effect. And as we go deeper in the practices and pause, what am I actually creating with these practices? What's the effect of pausing at the top of the inhale? What's the effect of sitting still and watching my thoughts? What am I creating? What's the end result? And that's how Martha invited us to move. And it was because of that, her work on stage looked authentic. It was in the moment, like we were feeling the depths. She choreographed a lot of the Greek myths, so it was drama. And the movements were designed to elicit anger, fear, excitement, whatever it is. And so in that same vein, can the yogic practices really change you, create a transformation?
So I think that's the good news of yoga practice, which is often lost in kind of conventional yoga culture, is that we all love yoga. It's incredibly popular.
Yay!
And we love it because it gives us a moment of breath, it gives us a moment of pause, it gives us fitness, it gives us a nice tush or whatever.
And community.
All of which is great, but what you're talking about is perhaps the deeper teachings, Patanjali. What is the purpose?
That's right.
What actually
Why are we
happens?
really doing this?
Yeah. So why are we really doing yoga?
So my view, and ask me again in 10 years.
Right. Okay.
Okay, date.
I'll meet you here.
Is that all of these practices lead us to the realization that this physical vehicle is just that, and that it is housing or carrying around, if you will, spirit. And the spirit is the eternal peace that is life itself. And I got that, and you got that, and that little rabbit that went by has that, and that tree has that. So all living things.
And people we don't like have that.
George Bush had it, apparently.
Yeah. Donald Trump. Everyone.
I think so.
Yeah.
And it's harder for us to feel that in things we don't resonate with.
But that's part of the point, right?
That is the point, is to recognize that we are all the same. And so for me to honor myself and to be kind to myself, it's the same as being kind to you and every other living being on this planet.
So from that point of view, we want to take care of our planet. We want to respect or listen to those we disagree with or dislike. We want to have empathy for those we don't care about otherwise.
In the end, we have to remember that everything is doing the best he or she can, based on whatever, for lack of a better word, trauma they may have experienced, difficulties, challenges. And in each moment, we really are trying to be happy, right? Even the people are going, what? Stop, be nice.
Right.
They too, in their own way, however misguided it may seem to you and me, are just doing the best they can in this moment to be, they think they're being kind and happy, and who knows what they think about us.
Right.
But truly, if you think of the first principle in the Ashtanga path, eight-limb path, is ahimsa. It's a no-brainer. It's a given if you recognize that all living beings are the same. And in the same way that I would never hurt myself, why would I ever hurt anything else? Because it's an extension of me.
But that's incredibly powerful because we all do hurt ourselves. We struggle. A great part of why we love yoga is that we're learning slowly to take care of ourselves better and to be kind to the parts of ourselves we don't like, whether it's body acceptance or our diet or the trauma we've gone through. So how does yoga help us connect our own loving kindness for ourselves, that path or that struggle, with, say, environmentalism or societal awareness or equality? Or
I think that all of the practices of yoga, even the most just physical ones, show us what our obstacles are. I have tight hamstrings.
Right.
It's hard for me to pause my breath. I get anxious. Or, wow, my mind is so busy that I can't really be here now. Or whatever it is, emotional. And so as we learn to recognize our own obstacles with kindness, patience, compassion, we do that with others. We do that with even people whose obstacles create what we might deem as violence, as exploitation, whether that's trafficking of slavery, whether that's trashing the planet, whether that's just that greed that we see everywhere. Again, what's the obstacle, and how can I live my life in such a way with kindness, with patience, and be an example? How can I choose to tread lightly on the earth, to greet each person, however difficult it may be in that moment, with patience and kindness, just like I try to do with myself?
So I think, everyone I know would agree and appreciate hearing all of that. But what does that mean, say, on a day-to-day level? What are some things we could do or that you do that bring you joy, but also are about that harmony of spirit?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, in terms of yoga, it's having a meditation practice. Mm-hmm. It's sitting down and pausing each day, even if you feel like you don't have time, and just going, oh, what's the recurring theme that's in my way? So that's the practice. And I think most of us would agree that taking time to get out in nature, like for me, I'm a sort of an avid bird watcher. I'm out there watching whatever birds I can find, and watching nature that transcends, that doesn't have the obstacles that I have. In this case, transcends gravity. And for me, the birds surrender to what is in the way that all of us need to. Like, the wind is blowing this way. I'm going to go with the wind. I can't fight that wind. I'll kill myself. Mm-hmm. So connecting to nature and recognizing the power, the beauty, the possibility of surrendering to what is, the necessity of surrender. that we bring to our lives, that we bring to our relationships.
So what does surrender, I mean, I come from a Buddhist background and we talk a lot about surrender, but what does surrender mean, say, if we're having a difficult relationship or something like that? Do we just give in to their aggression or their bullshit, or what does surrender mean?
I think we pause enough to let the aggression come and go. It's like stepping aside and letting the train go quickly past. And because there's no way I can stop a train, right? But recognizing that that's the energy, that's real. I have to surrender to that, but I don't have to stand in the middle of it and get run over by a train.
You don't have to buy into it.
At all. And so as I get out of the way, it diminishes that power. And pretty soon that person gets off that train track and we sit down and we start to have an actual conversation, an actual give and take, give and take.
Annie, thank you.
My pleasure.
It's an honor.
Namaste.